Gundam.tk presents Gundam RX78GP02A Physalis. Hey everyone, and welcome to my review this time of the Gundam RX78GP02A Physalis from the anime Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. And this is a Master Grade Model 1/100th kit. This is an older kit made in 1998, and because 0083 is pretty popular in Japan, it was one of the first to come out in the Master Grade line, and of course it's made by Bandai. The price is 4,000 yen, as this is a pretty large Gundam, and it comes in the large size Master Grade box. For the box tour, the first thing that you'll notice about this is how huge this Gundam is. And basically it has oversized feet and huge wings that slap onto the side of the shoulders that just give it a huge impression of bulk. Now the cockpit can open, which was a big deal back in '98. It has beam sabers that you can pull out of the waist armor. Wow, knee covers, that's not very exciting. A backpack which stores the nuclear weapon, and a head, and here are the shoulder binders can pop up and you can pull out extra jets. It's sort of unique that it actually comes with different fists for different poses so the hands don't move. And of course, this was one of the Gundams they're beginning to put in better and better inner frames back in '98. And it also comes with a huge shield that can store the main part of the bazooka in the back. So here's the bazooka when you put it all together, and it comes with a green beam saber and a nuclear weapon. When you crack the box open, one nice thing is that you get a huge insert the size of the box that shows off the painted GP02A, and it looks pretty sharp with the shield up and its binders up. Because this is a big Gundam, you get a lot of plates, 15 in total. They go from A to L with a couple of duplicates. And one thing that's sort of neat about this is you get a double size plate. So this is twice as large as a regular size plate, and it fills up the whole box. I don't know why they had to do that. The A plate comes with blue, clear green, orange, and dark gray. And something to note about the color here is that it is dark. It's a light gray. It's not white, actually. Now I know looking through the manual can be a little bit boring, but on the cover you just get this, and inside on the back you get a back shot. But what I really have to complain about here is that this was probably the worst instruction manual I've ever used. It has some stories, some decent art, computer-generated stuff, but if you look carefully at the parts, on the side you often have these little parts that you put together, and then you'll combine them into bigger things. But it's not well laid out, so that you're building things over here that are sort of unrelated to where they are on the right. So Bandai has come a long way with this, and there's also a lot of more words that are in Japanese. So if you don't understand Japanese, it's not that you'd have trouble building this, you just have to be a lot more careful. So of course Bandai, everything has gotten better with time, and this being a 1998 Master Grade, the manual really shows it, and that was a knock against this for me. Now for stickers and decals, etc., you get the regular clear sheet, and so the yellow parts on the side of the shield, those are stickers, which was disappointing. I was hoping they'd be yellow parts. The regular eyepiece, one camera. You get another set of different kind of stickers. These are very thin and papery and a little bit hard to apply, but there's a big red one here for the shield. But what I really liked was that you get a lot of clear decals. And what I've cut out here are the 02s that you put on the shoulder of the GP02A. So a quick word about the story of Stardust Memory, if you haven't seen it, is that basically, though this Gundam looks like a good guy, it was Gundam jacked at the start of the series, and of course became a bad guy. And I think you can sort of see that in the design of it. So Anavel Gato was the pilot, and he works for Neo Zeon, and the whole point of this Gundam is to deliver a nuclear weapon. That's what it's built for, with the huge weapon. And the shield is designed that it can survive the blast of the weapon that it launches itself. So here's a quick look at all the parts that you're going to get with the GP02A, and the first thing that you'll probably notice is how massive they are. The shield is huge. It comes with 4 extra fists, a small nuclear weapon, the backpack that stores the nuclear weapon, the burners for the side, the waist section is large. It comes with separate shoulders and arms, the head, the huge bazooka, 2 beam sabers, and 2 oversized feet. And yeah, you get an idea with the legs here. The feet, as I've said, are huge, but they don't have a lot of mobility to back that up. The back of the heel moves, the front moves, and this part is on a pivot point that can go up and down. But outside of that, there's really nothing. And this part here should be dark gray, but you'd have to paint that up yourself, which I am too lazy to do. Now, one thing that I have to complain about is I was sort of hoping that this Gundam would have a mini mode, where you were able to take off the burners, etc., and just make it into a normal size Gundam, because with this being gray, this looks like a separate foot. But it's not detachable, it's really just one piece. So you can't sort of do a small, skinny version of the GP02A, as I was sort of hoping. Now the legs are huge too, and the first thing that I noticed was you have to do a lot of lining down there, so buy yourself a nice black Gundam lining marker, no problems to do. And basically, the knees can bend this much, and it sort of exposes something down here, but that's not too bad. 2 red accent pieces that you can add some black lining to. And inside, though, the bottom, you should add a lot of lining to that, but you're not really going to see it with the foot, so I didn't worry about that. Now the waist section I think looks pretty good. You have to add a lot of lining, though, to make it look really good. If you add in the 2 beam sabers, they sit just on the side of the waist armor. It's got some piping in the back, and no color except for the 1 red accent. Now the chest really suits the oversized nature of this Gundam, as it's a bit big and bulky. Down here you can move the cockpit just a little bit, and you can reveal a miniature Anavel Gato inside. And what I really like is that they give you the dry decals, so you can put on the name of the Gundam. And I only decal sometimes, but if it's seen in the anime, then I like to put it on the model itself. So the chest, very simple. One other thing I should note is up here is that this is a clear part that I painted with green. On the box they showed as being green and gray, so you should actually be painting it partly green and then dark gray around it. The left and right shoulders are different, with the left one having a raised line that you can put a line around, and a hole in the back that you'll attach the back of the bazooka onto. Now this is the dry decals, and though I didn't put it on as straight as I would have liked, they're very easy to apply. You just put it on, slap the tape on top of it, and take a toothpick and just scrub it down really hard. When you take the plastic off, the decal will have transferred over. And this is where you attach on the side burners. Now the burners are one of the highlights of this Gundam for me. You have to add a lot of black lining to make it look good, and my only complaint really is that these are stickers instead of yellow parts. But because they've made them metallic, I'm not that upset with it. Now it has 1 extra burner on the back and 2 down below, and what's cool about this is if you pull on one of them, the inside one will also pull down because it's guided here with these parts, and you can turn this part down also. So if you were looking at the back of the GP02A, all of a sudden it has 3 extra jets on each shoulder, giving it some extra vertical lift. And if you put them back, well, then it's got just 2 extra jets. But it's a very cool gimmick, and I think it really adds a lot to the size and power of this Gundam. The backpack is very simple, old Universal style Sentry, just gray. The only exciting part of it is that it has a door that you can put this nuclear missile into. Also, it comes with its own version of the disassembled weapon, which will fit, if you put it in the right way, no problem, into the backpack. I really like the beam sabers from this kit simply because they are extra large, which suits the whole theme of this Gundam. And the backs are a little bit unique because they have a big bulb at the end, and those fit no problem into the side of the waist skirt, and then they protrude a little bit so that if he's grabbing them, he would just pull it out from here. Now, unlike pretty much every Gundam ever, the main weapon for the GP02A is not a beam rifle, but instead it's the mentioned atomic bazooka. Now the main feature of this, besides its size, is that this detaches into the front, and this front part can be stored in the shield. Now this doesn't really have anything fancy to it, except on the handle with the trigger, this can move a little bit so that you can adjust the pose where it is in the hand. But on the back, it has a clear piece, and this clear piece you can paint up, so I just did that in green, and this is where it'll attach. But on the back, it'll launch into the or attach into the shoulder like this, and then to bring it forward, there are a bunch of different combinations that you can do. This spins, this is on a joint side to side, and basically you can bring this up and out of the way, and you would bring this forward, attach this, and then it's ready to shoot. And finally, you have the massive shield, and just something that I should mention here is that this should be red, and I had to use a red Gundam marker to paint that. So if you do that, make sure you have some thinner to clear off the excess red that will spill over the edges. Now the back, this part opens up, and this should be a locking mechanism, but it's not really that effective. You can still pull it apart no matter what you do. But what's cool about this is that you can put these end parts have some mobility, front and back, and if you open them up, then you can put the bazooka in and lock it into place and then close the shield, so while the GP02A is doing close combat, etc., the main weapon of its huge bazooka is safely tucked away. Don't forget to check out part 2 and see the rest of the parts and everything put together. Thanks for watching, everybody.